I'm Lee Feltano,
the internet's fuzziest music fan,
and we're here with the Hello Family Tree.
In the news today.
Man, the news, dude. I'm gonna turn up some loud music and put that adrenaline to good use. How about some hardcore Cali skate punk? This is a good album. It's got cool riffs, hooks, driving rhythms, bridges that don't slow down. No one slows down. This album goes for a cliff jump in an old but trusty motorbike. The Bygones bike that takes a second to get momentum, but only for a second, and then it's dirt, leaves, and bits of tree branches flying in the air. Before the jump is made, it's a sure thing. The Bygones bike rages into thin air by sheer force of willpower and punk. The crowd gasps, as if there's a chance they won't make it. But not only have they safely landed on the other side, they're ready to do it again. Maybe this time blindfolded while eating fajitas. This is the Hello Family Tree, Episode 4. Bygones. Bye.
When I'm listening to Hella, I'm listening to two musicians collaborating equally melodically in the duo. The rhythm and the melody are coming from both musicians, in fact. Zach Hill is not playing percussion for Spencer's riffs. They're both bringing riffs to the table and finding out how they fit together. With Bygones, it feels like Zach Hill made a conscious effort to put himself in the rhythm section. That is not to say Zach Hill's phoning it in. Quite the opposite. He's bringing some of the hardest, tightest drumming to the table here. And Nick Reinhart. I assume he's an octopus shredding on a 57-string custom guitar made from a discarded skateboard and a bong. He's playing his heart out. He's putting it all out there and it's incredible. Nick Reinhart's playing on this album is a perfect mix of noisy post-punk and classic hair metal riffs born from years of honing one's instrument. You can feel all the effort of years of practicing guitar paying off as Nick takes shredding and noodling to a new level. Something crunchier yet choppier. Angular is an adjective some people use to describe guitar playing. This is like a fractal angular. A frangular. The guitar on this album sounds frangular. This is a solid punk noise rock album. There's not too many production tricks. The mastery of both musicians are on full display here. Let's do a track by track.
Track 1. Cold Reading. Starts off as psychedelic and punk as possible. Becomes some kind of prog punk masterpiece that feels like it covers all the bases, from squiggly riffs to crunchy riffs. There's more ideas in this one song than most albums. Track 2. Click on that. Smash the Plastic Death. Earworm of a vocal line. The guitar tone on this feels like it's coming off a 70s rock record on the original vinyl pressing. By the end, it feels anxious and triumphant, like you just want to fight, but you gotta split that scene ASAP. Track 3. Not what it is, but what it's not. The lead guitar line draws a trail in the sand. The vocal lines lead you down a path. Track 4. New Cringe. The longest track on the album, clocking in at 5:55. This sounds like a classic rock radio being cycled through some kind of Beetlejuice underworld. A guitar figure that sounds like a fire alarm caught fire. The vocals bark distortion amidst a slippery groove expertly being tossed around like metal acrobats. The soundtrack to an evil robot gaining sentience, to a montage of robots destroying cities. A reminder to be nice to robots. Track 5, Fool Evolved. This one starts off like an alarm in a spaceship, drum rolls add to the panic, and then it falls into the Bygones groove we've come to know and love through half this album. There's 20 things happening in this track, and they're all amazing. Like those new salad bowls the kids are into these days. The guitar riff sounds bendy, like wiggling a long piece of rebar. If I were the one in the world, I would run from me. Track 6, Spray You With Your Own Trip. Now rise for the skate punk national anthem. Just kidding. Take a knee because this nation is ruled by the double standards and injustice at the expense of minority and underrepresented groups of our fellow citizens. The beginning of the song has major stately vibes, like if Aaron Copland grew up listening to Nirvana. Momentum carries the listener through this track, although keeping up is a sport unto itself. Track 7, Expelled. It has the vibe of the Minutemen, the band from the 80s, not the racist Minutemen, as it hops between post-punk rhythm guitar and melodic platforms, holding fast and tight. It sounds like you pushed a robot orchestra down the stairs. Don't abuse robots. That's how we get the Matrix. There's only so many ways to say this is an amazing skate punk prog album. The noise at the end sounds like a surprise barrel that Donkey Kong flung at you. Then the track seamlessly segs into the next one. Track 8, Up the Shakes. Head bopping, the drum hits, and the vocals both have a double bounce effect. The vocals drive this composition, sometimes feeling like a bowed cello line. Heavy rhythm both on the drums and the guitar bring this chaos into focus, at times dropping into a dance groove in the mix, which may be some of the catchiest bits on the album, if only because it stands so distinct from the rest. There's a song on the Ladies album that I think would make a great Britney Spears type pop song. I'll throw this in as well. Put those grooves into a cleaner, pop-oriented production with a shiny female vocal in, it's gonna be a hit. Have you heard the boo? With psychology sounds like a buzzsaw. So Cindy, with obsolete guess I was Not that we should do such a thing to Bygones. But if you own publishing, it's something to consider. Track 9, X-People. Punk goes paranoid. Anxiety builds up. Thoughts stacking on each other and looping. Our minds become a prison.
Then tomorrow starts to yell. Don't wanna get on, I wanna get all the way to today. Straight from hell. Don't wanna get on, I wanna not the destination, but the word itself. Don't wanna get on, I wanna get time to leave yourself center.
The tension of the vocals and the instrument parts break in this rolling bridge, taking a breath before ramping up into riffs and licks running somewhat familiar ascending and descending lines, but breaking with expectation along the way. Throw away the map because it'll get you lost. What you're looking for isn't on a map anyways. Track 10, Air, rolling and resonating while being fun and weird, like skipping snowballs across a lake. The culmination of all that momentum, that frustration, that anxiety, that excitement, that enthusiasm, that bliss, all comes home to roost in one final jam, tearing the roof off the place. Who needs a permit to do construction work? My landlord does, and not Bygones. Ending as tight as it came in on, professionals to the core, punk to the core. Abolish all prisons before this album is done. It turns out it's not that easy, but at least the sentiment is there.
What else? Bygones also have an EP called Spiritual Bankruptcy. It's quick and brutal, like a psychedelic metal minor thready beat. Nick is also in Tera Melos, his quote-unquote maiden band. Weird and punk and fun are some of the good adjectives to stick on Tera Melos.
Even when it's been long and the storm just fades in the key of your head as the line wraps around every corner and then gets burned in your memory every time. Gets burned in the screen of your favorite line. Don't worry about space or available bikes.
Nick Reinhart also has Disheveled Cuss, which is more of a solo project. Here's a song titled Shut Up, which I'll dedicate to my awful neighbor who screams at his children every day, all the time.
Shut you down. What can I do to make you stop? What can I do to make you shut up? What can I do to make you close your mouth? What can I do?
And Nick is in Zach's new band, Undo K from Hot, which will be covered in episode 6 of Hella Family Tree. Also in Undo K from Hot is Robbie Moncrief, who was discussed in the last Hella Family Tree episode on The Advantage. Nick Reinhart is all over Zach Hill's Felthead album. I think he's credited on 6 songs, including one of my favorite songs ever, X-Ravers, a perfect example of Zach Hill's poppier side, catchy and hooky, jerky and disruptive, a wave pool full of mannequins. Nick Reinhart played guitar on a bunch of Death Grip songs from Powers That Be and Bottomless Pit, and oh holy shit, he played with Portugal the Man? I still have Feel It Still stuck in my head since I first heard the Trey Anastasio band cover it in Austin. Every day, all the time, very, very catchy. I don't know if he played on the song itself, but he is credited as an additional musician on Woodstock, the album that features Feel It Still. Nick Reinhart is also known as the effects pedal dude in guitar tech nerd circles. He's a host on the Pedals and Effects YouTube channel. He has a legendarily complex pedalboard setup that he uses during live shows. He owns this cool synth that was used to make non-diegetic sound and music in Hanna-Barbera cartoons. You can hear him discuss how that instrument came into his possession on the Weirdos podcast. He's on a bunch of other podcasts, but since I mentioned them during the Advantage show, check out the 440 Guitar podcast for a great discussion with Nick Reinhart. Get this album, turn it up loud, if you like it loud. Support musicians, abolish prisons. I'm Lee Feltano, the internet's music fan.